So friends, in today's lecture we will study these topics. First topic is source conversion. Second topic is voltage division and current division rule. And then finally we will study dependent sources. So we can start with source conversion. So in last lecture we studied that a practical voltage source can be represented by uh, an ideal source in series with the resistance. So this is the equivalent circuit diagram of a practical voltage source, that is an ideal voltage source, and a series resistance, which is the internal resistance of this source. And we also found that characteristic equation for practical voltage source is VL is equal to Vs minus IL into RSE. So we can write this equation as VL is equal to Vs minus IL into RSE. We can name this equation as equation 1, and we can further write this equation in the form of IL as Vs IL is equal to Vs upon RSE minus VL upon RSE. So we can name this equation as equation 2. So this is the characteristic equation of voltage source, which has been written in the form of load current IL. So these two equations are same. Similarly, for a current source, means characteristics, or this is for the voltage source. Similarly, for current source, and these are for the practical voltage source and practical current source. So similarly, for current source, practical current source, characteristic equation is IL is equal to IS minus VL upon RSH. So we can name this equation as equation 3, and we can further transform this equation in the form of VL as VL is equal to IS into RSH minus IL into RSH. So equation 1 and 2 are same things, whereas 3 and 4 are same things. This is the characteristic equation for voltage source, and these two are the characteristics equation for current source. So here this is written in form of VL, means load voltage, and here same equation is written in the form of load current IL. Similarly, for current source, this is written as IL, and here it is written as VL. Now we can also draw the circuit diagram for this. This is the voltage source with series internal resistance RSE and voltage Vs, and this is connected to a load. Load voltage is VL and load current is IL. This is the load circuit. Similarly, if we draw the circuit diagram for this current source, then this current source is like this. Means we have a current source with source current value IS and a parallel internal resistance with resistance RSH. This is connected to our load. Voltage across load is VL and current through the load is IL. So these are the circuit diagrams for the voltage source and current source. So if we compare equation 2 with 3, or we can write comparing equation 2 with 3, we will get, if we compare these two equations, equation 2 and 3, then here it is written as IL is equal to Vs upon Rse minus VL upon Rse. And here this IL is written as IL is equal to Is, means in place of Is, here we have Vs upon Rse. And in place of VL upon RSH, we have VL upon RSE. So if these two sources are equivalent to each other, then this term should be equal to this term and this term should be equal to this term. It means Is should be equal to Vs upon Rse and RSH should be equal to Rse. Therefore, if this source is equivalent to this voltage source, means if we have found this current source as equivalent to this voltage source, then the source current value of that current source should be equal to Vs upon Rse, and the shunt resistance or the parallel internal resistance value should be equal to the series internal resistance of the voltage source. So comparing these two, we have found that we can write a current source equivalent to this voltage source, whose source voltage value is given, series resistance is given. Then we can write its equivalent current source as Is is equal to Vs upon Rse, and parallel resistance value Rsh will be equal to Rse. So we can draw the equivalent current source for this voltage source. So this is the current source, value will be Vs upon Rse, and parallel resistance will be equal to Rse. So this is the equivalent current source for this voltage source. So this is the conversion of a voltage source into a current source. Similarly, we can convert a given current source into an equivalent voltage source. For that, we need to compare equation 1 with 4. So if we compare equation 1 with 4, both are written in same form but are for different sources. So if this is the a characteristic equation of a current source, and we have to convert this current source into an equivalent voltage source, then the value of that source voltage will be equal to Is into Rsh, and value of the series resistance will be equal to Rsh, means resistance in the shunt branch. Therefore, on comparing, so we can write here that similar to the previous conversion, we can write here comparing equation 1 with 4. So we are provided with this current source whose characteristic equation we have written in the form of VL, and we can compare this characteristic equation with the characteristic equation of a voltage source. So we are comparing this 4 with 1. So we will get Vs will be equal to, so here we can write Vs as Is into RSH. This is Vs of the equivalent voltage source. So we are provided with this current source, and we are writing this voltage source value for an equivalent voltage source of this current source. And RSE means series resistance of that equivalent voltage source will be equal to the RSH, means resistance of the shunt branch of current source. So similar to this, we can also draw the diagram for the equivalent voltage source. So source voltage value is Vs, which is equal to Is RSH, and series resistance is equal to shunt resistance RSH. So this is the equivalent voltage source of the given current source. So we can summarize all these conversions once again. So to summarize this, first of all, we will see the conversion of voltage source into equivalent current source. So we are provided with this source, voltage source, and we have to convert this source into an equivalent current source. For that, we first of all we have expressed the characteristic equation of this voltage source in this standard format, means standard format of the characteristic equation of current source, and then we have compared this 2 with 3 to find out the Is and RSH value. So we have found here that Is is equal to Vs upon Rse, means source current value of the equivalent current source is equal to Vs upon Rse, and shunt resistance is equal to Rse, means resistance which was originally in the series resistance. So both the resistance are equal. Similarly, if we are given with this current source and we have to find out the equivalent voltage source, then to find out the voltage source value, we have compared this equation 2 with 3. So we found Vs as Is into RSH, and RSC means series resistance is equal to RSH, means resistance in the shunt branch. So this for this equivalent current source is this, and for this current source equivalent voltage source is this. So this is the overall conversion of voltage source, this voltage source into equivalent current source, and current source into an equivalent voltage source. So now we will take an example to understand this process. So we will take an example to understand this process. So suppose we are given with an equivalent voltage source with source voltage value of 5 volts and internal resistance, series internal resistance as 2 ohms. Then for this practical voltage source, if we have to find out the equivalent current source, then we know that from the previous derivation, we know that for this, if we have to find out the its equivalent current source, it means we have to find out the source current value and the shunt resistance. Then this source will be equivalent to this. So to find out this I means source current value, in previous derivation we saw that Is was equal to Vs upon Rse. So here Vs is 5 and Rse is 2. So we can write 5 upon 2, that is 2.5 amperes. This is the source current value for this equivalent source. And we also saw that RSH will be equal to RSE. So RSE is given as 2 ohms, means RSH will also be 2 ohms. So we can write here as 2 ohms. So this is the equivalent current source of this given voltage source. So this is how, or in reverse order, we can also convert this current source into equivalent voltage source. Then we will arrive at the original voltage source. So in actual practice, we do not do any such conversion, means in real life practice, we do not do any such conversion. This conversion is done only for the analytical purpose and theoretical studies. So to make or sometimes simplify the given problem. So next we can study voltage division rule. So voltage division rule is simply a rule to give the voltage across any element in the circuit. So for example, if we take a circuit containing n resistances, this is up to nth resistance. So this is R1, this is R2, this is R3, and this is up to Rn. So we have n resistances connected in series with a battery with EMF E. So now if we have to find out the voltage across any of these resistance, then we can multiply that resistance with this circuit current. So if circuit current is I, then we can find the voltage across any of these resistance. So voltage across this resistance Rn will be equal to V. If we call it Vn, then Vn will be equal to I into Rn, and I will be equal to EMF of this battery divided by sum of all these resistances, because all resistances are in series. So this is the rule to give the voltage across any resistance when several resistances are connected in series. So by this rule we get Vn as E upon R1 plus R2 plus R3 up to Rn, means sum of all resistances into Rn. So this is the voltage across Rn. Similarly, we can find out voltage across any of these elements. So this is called the voltage division rule. This is a very simple rule. We can use this result directly in various problems. And next is current division rule. So if we have two resistances connected in parallel with a current source with source current value of Is, then there are two resistances R1 and R2 connected in parallel with this current source with source current value Is. So if we have to find out the current across any of these two resistances, then if the current going through R1 is I1 and the current going through R2 is I2, then to find out the voltage across all these elements, which will be common, voltage across this and this will be common. So to find out the voltage across any of these elements, we need to find out the equivalent resistance of these two resistances, parallel combination of these two resistances. And if we multiply that combination with this current Is, total current Is, then we will get the voltage which will occur across all these elements. So suppose the voltage which is common for all these elements is V, then V will be equal to Is into the parallel combination of these two resistance, means R1 into R2 divided by R1 plus R2. So this is V. Now current in this branch I1 will be equal to V upon R1, which will be equal to this V we if we divide this by R1, then this R1 will be cancelled and we will simply get Is into R2 divided by R1 plus R2. So this is I1. It means I1 is equal to Is, means total source current, into multiplied by adjacent branch resistance, which is R2, divided by sum of both the resistances, which is R1 plus R2. And similarly, if we find I2, similarly I2 will be equal to Is, means total source current, multiplied by adjacent branch resistance, which is R1, divided by sum of both the resistances. So this is I1 and I2. This is called current division rule. Now here there are only two resistances, but in case there are several resistances connected in parallel, then also we can use the same rule to find out the current in any branch. The change is only that in case of several branches, we will consider the branch in which we have to find out the resistance, and we will find out the parallel combination of rest of the branches resistances. So we will convert the several branches into two branches only, one by considering the branch in which we have to find out the current, and taking the parallel combination of all rest branches. So these are the results of current division rules I1 and I2. A simple trick to remember this formula is that we multiply the total source current with the adjacent branch resistance, and then we divide the sum of both the resistances. Similarly for I2. So we can use these uh, results directly in various problems. So now we will take one example of current division rule to understand it in more elaborated way. So we can take the example. the example is, for example, we will draw the circuit diagram. Circuit diagram is this, that we have a battery and some resistances are connected to this battery to form a circuit, complete circuit. So these are the resistances and these are the branches in which currents are flowing. So this is the complete circuit and the voltage of this battery is Vs. This resistance is 4 ohms and current through this resistance is I1. This resistance is 6 ohm resistance and current is I2. Current in this branch is I4 and resistance is of 3 ohms. Current through this branch is I5 and resistance is of 5 ohms, and current in this branch is I3. So we have to find out I1, I2, I3 and I5, means we have to find out these I1, I2, I3 and I5 using current division rule. So we will use the results obtained from the current division rule to find out I1, I2, I3 and I5 in this problem, whereas this I4 is given as 4 amperes. So we can start with this point and we know that I4 is given as 4 ohm amperes and I5 is not known. So at this point we can apply current division rule to find out I5. So if we recall the current division rule at this point, then I4 can be written as I4 will be equal to, using current division rule formula, this I4 will be equal to, this total current is I3 and it is getting divided into I4 and I5. So I4 will be equal to total current, which is I3, into adjacent branch resistance, means 5, divided by sum of both the resistances, means 3 plus 5, which is 8. So it will be equal to 5 by 8 I3, and I4 is given as 4 amperes. So here we will get I3 as 6.4 amperes. After calculation we will get 6.4 amperes. This is I3. So once this I3 is known, we can find out I5. So I5 will be equal to total current I3, which is 6.4 into adjacent branch resistance, which is 3, divided by sum of both the resistances, which is 8. So it will be equal to 2.4 amperes. Similarly, we can also apply Kirchhoff's current division rule at this point. Here I3 is known and total current is I1, which is getting divided into I2 and I3, and I3 is known. So we can write I3 here we can write I3 as total current, which is I1. So I1 will be multiplied by adjacent branch resistance. Means if we have to find out the current in this branch, then we will multiply the total current with adjacent branch resistance, that is 6 ohm. So into 6 divided by sum of both the resistances. So one resistance is 6 ohms resistance in this branch, and another resistance will be the parallel combination of these two resistances. So it will be divided by 6 plus parallel combination of 3 and 5. So this will be the current division rule for I3. So I3 is, we have calculated I3 as 6.4 amperes. So we can put this I3 here to find out I1, and from this equation we will get I1 after calculation as 8.404 amperes. So once this I1 is known, we can find out I2 either by using current division rule or by subtracting this I3 from I1. So by applying current division rule, we will get this I2 as total current I1 multiplied by this adjacent branch resistance, which is the parallel combination of 3 and 5, divided by sum of both the resistances, means 6 plus parallel combination of 3 and 5. So after calculation, this is I1. So after calculation, we will get I2 as 2.004 amperes. So this is the complete solution of the problem. We have found I1, I2, I3 and I5 when I4 is given as 4 amperes. So in this way you can solve various problems of similar type or even more difficult. And next we will study the last topic, that is dependent sources. So dependent sources are those sources in which current or the voltage value depends upon some other parameter of the circuit. So dependent sources are of two types: dependent voltage source and dependent current source. And further, dependent voltage source and dependent current sources are of two types each. So if we talk about dependent voltage source, then dependent voltage source are of two types. First is voltage dependent voltage source, and second is current dependent voltage source. So if we talk about dependent voltage source, then these are of two types. First is voltage dependent voltage source, and second is current dependent voltage source. It means if the voltage value of a voltage source depends upon some other voltage of the circuit, then such dependent source will be called voltage dependent voltage source, or in short VC Vs, means voltage controlled voltage source. And similarly, if the voltage of a dependent voltage source depend upon the current in some other part of the circuit, then this type of voltage source will be current dependent current voltage source, means CCVS, current controlled voltage source. So similar to voltage source, we have current sources, means dependent current sources, dependent current source. So further or similarly, dependent current sources are also of two types. First is voltage controlled or voltage dependent current source. This is also called VCCS, means voltage controlled current source. And second is current dependent current source, or CCCS, current controlled current source. Now we can draw the circuit diagram. So equivalent circuit diagram for VCVS, means voltage controlled voltage source, will be like this. This is the voltage Vx on which output of the dependent voltage source depends. So symbol for the voltage dependent voltage source will be like this, and the voltage value of this dependent voltage source will be alpha into Vx. So the output voltage of this voltage source is equal to alpha into Vx, where alpha is some arbitrary constant. It means it is dependent upon Vx, and Vx is the voltage of some other part of this circuit. So this is VC Vs, means voltage controlled voltage source, and this is the symbol of dependent voltage source to distinguish it from the independent voltage source, for which symbol will be of circle. And next is the current controlled voltage source or current dependent voltage source. So if we have this current in a circuit which is equal to Ix, then voltage source, this is the voltage source which is dependent, and its source voltage value will be mu into Ix, means where mu is some arbitrary constant. So voltage value is depending upon Ix. It means it is current dependent voltage source. Then comes the circuit diagram for the dependent current source. So for dependent current source, further, if the current value is depending upon the voltage, suppose Vx, then symbol will be like this, arrow, and the output voltage current of this source will be beta Vx, means the output current is dependent upon this voltage of the circuit, some other part of the circuit, and beta is some arbitrary constant. So this is VCCS, means voltage controlled current source. And finally we have current controlled, this is Ix, current of some part of the circuit, and this is our dependent current source, and the source current value is gamma into Ix, means output current is dependent upon current of some other part of the circuit. So this is CCCS, means current controlled current source. So these are the types and equivalent circuit of different types of dependent sources. So similar to source conversion, these uh, sources are also used for the analytical and theoretical purpose only, many times for the modeling of certain electrical and electronics devices. So that's all for this lecture. In the next lecture we will study mesh analysis. Thank you.